something for you this morning. So we can just bring it down real quick. Let's pray. Let's get on with our day. Let's have a good one today. I know it's the sun's not really out today, but you know we're used to that, so we're going to be thankful for it. So let's pray real quick. Heavenly Father, Lord, we love you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for everyone in this building. Even though it is dim and gloomy and foggy outside, God, we are just thankful that we are here and we are breathing in your life. God, let's have fun today. Let us pick each other up. Let's be happy. Let's love each other. Let's love on each other today. It is Valentine's Day. We're celebrating that, God. So let's just have a really great day today. Keep everybody safe as they go out on the buses and vans and the workshops. Let us do good today, God. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Good morning, Solid Rock. So here we are on this beautiful Friday, and I'd like to welcome you all here. We have some speakers that are coming here today. We're going to have a little talk. Tell me what the theme for this year is. Compassion. And compassion applies to all things. Okay, and so what you hear me say almost every week that I talk is that what I want to challenge every person to do is to extend their circle of compassion. All of us have a natural circle of compassion. We are usually compassionate to our family, maybe to our peer group, but we're not always compassionate to other people, maybe people that are different, or other things in this world. And that's what we're talking about this year is compassion. Compassion is a really important character trait. And so recently, I met Larrnell, and this is Larrnell, welcome Larrnell. And then he introduced me to Oni, who is up on the screen, and she is, where is she located? In Scotland. Okay, we're going to talk to them in a minute. But I want to tell you something. Solid Rock is a school that is based on inclusion. Does anybody know what the word inclusion means? Logan?
Doesn't it mean to like include people, like people of different races, sexes, preferences? Like doesn't mean to include everyone?
It does. Inclusion means to include everybody. Okay? Solid Rock Community School is an inclusive environment. And inclusive means we welcome everybody without regard to all of those things that make people different. Okay? And in our classrooms are inclusive classrooms. So I'm sure many of you have been, how many of you have been to public school before? Okay. All right, lots of people. Okay. So many of you have been to public school or other schools before. And have you ever experienced a situation where maybe you or one of your friends or somebody else you saw, they were put into another classroom because they were different? So they had a special classroom that they went to that were different. Okay? So that's not inclusive. That is not inclusive. Inclusive means that we educate students of all types together. Okay? We're a school community who loves our school family. And we believe that we are all unique and we are all different, but we are all the same and all amazing. And we want to celebrate all of our similarities and all of our unique individual things that we have about one another. All right, so I recently had the opportunity to meet Larrnell, and I fell in love with Larrnell. Larrnell has autism, and Larrnell speaks about his autism very openly. And I love speaking to him because I thought that is so cool. Here's an adult who has autism, who speaks about it directly, he's willing to answer questions, and he's a successful adult. And I thought, wow, that's so cool. I really would love to talk to him. And then he introduced me to Oni, who also has autism, and they both have different stories and things like that. And I just thought how cool it would be to talk to some adults that have autism, that are willing to talk about it and answer questions. Because we're a school with many kids with autism in our school. And everybody with autism is different. There's a big, they call it the spectrum. There's this big, huge spectrum of people with autism, and they're all different, just like everybody's all different, right? But sometimes might want to ask that you've never had the opportunity to ask, and they want to be here to do that. And so I want to give them that opportunity. So let's give them a round of applause and welcome them. Hi, Oni. This is the first time I've got to see you. Can you see me?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I can see you.
I've been talking to you for a while, but I haven't seen you, so it's great to see you. So, Larrnell and Oni both have podcasts. Do you guys know what a podcast is? Okay, some of you do, some of you don't. Okay, so for people my age, it's kind of like a radio show. Yeah.
That's what kind of
So they both have a podcast, and both of the podcasts, I'm going to let them tell you. I want you guys, let's do this. Let's start with, I would like you each to tell a little bit about yourself, okay?
I'll start first. Okay, my name is Larrnell, as the show has put out there, and me and Oni do a podcast together, like a drinks podcast called the Autistic Delicatessan, and we have Michelle as our guest on episode 4. And also too, like I do another show called Get Inoculated on WMNF, the radio station. And and Oni does a thing called and Oni does a thing called Autistic too as well, a podcast which is called Autism. And for me, I think for me, my story kind of started to where like I was diagnosed with autism as a child, and at first like I didn't really understand it, and of course at the time, like in order for me to like make sure my stuff was straight, in terms of the chemical imbalance and all that type of stuff, like my parents had to take me off the sugary foods and put me onto like the more organic stuff, so to be able to not have the chemical imbalance. So that part, that was the thing where I had to be different than myself. And at first, like I was just ashamed of this. I couldn't eat the same things as other people. I couldn't be able to sometimes interact with the same people because I was shy and couldn't really talk or look at people and all that stuff, So I still have some of that, but I've gotten better over the years. So yeah, that's kind of like the start of my story right there.
All right, thank you. Oni, you want to give us a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm Oni Kage, or Oni for short. I also have my own podcast, which is the Autistic podcast. But I'm also, Autistic is also a blog and a YouTube channel, so I talk about all things autism and a few other things as well, but primarily autism. I wasn't diagnosed until I was an adult. When I was a child, it was always special needs, learning difficulties, but it was never a set diagnosis. And also, girls were harder to diagnose. I wasn't diagnosed until I was 25, which was like 5 years ago. So I've been learning about autism since then. When I was at university, making art projects, video projects, learning about myself, finding out the community, and now I make a blog and share my experiences and meet other autistic people from all ages.
Great, thank you. So, they are now, you say you're 25? Is that what you said?
I was 25 when I got diagnosed. I'm 29 now.
Okay, 29. And how old are you?
I'm 35.
35.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask them some questions that will allow them to tell us more about them, and then you can take those stories and go as far as you want. Okay?
Sure.
So you just mentioned that you were diagnosed when you were little. You were a kid.
Yeah.
And so before you were diagnosed, did you feel different than you felt like your peers felt? And then, okay, answer that first. Did you feel different?
In my mind, I was already different because I was already shy, so I felt kind of like observing other people. I felt like I could really talk, sometimes to my own family members and all that stuff. I just felt like, and all that type of stuff. I was just already shy and nervous and all that stuff. I guess with the food stuff, that's when I really got it. Oh, I really did. So, yeah.
Okay, and what about you, Oni? Did you feel different before you got the diagnosis? Were you looking for a diagnosis because you were feeling different? Or
I think it is kind of like that. When I was a kid, I thought I was normal until I was around 16 and I knew something was wrong. But I didn't think it was autism until my mid-20s. Someone close to me recently got diagnosed and said that you're a walking textbook, and I trusted their opinion for a while. And I was looking more into it and went, well, a lot of these make sense to all the problems I had with my way of thinking, the difficulties I had with various things, social, eye contact and all that. So when I did get diagnosed, things fell into place. But when you're an adult, support can be a little more difficult. But thankfully in my area, I was able to get support as an adult and find communities, and find groups and meet friends, and that you learn a lot.
so I'm curious, when you got your diagnosis, I'm going to say something first before you guys answer. When you, and it gives you a minute to think about it. When you received a diagnosis of autism, did that make you happy because now you knew maybe why you were a little different or why you saw things differently or thought differently? Or were you angry about the diagnosis? Because there's a million different diagnoses, right? And disabilities and things like that. There's so many. I am diagnosed with MS. I used to be diagnosed with lupus, right? So there's all kinds of diagnoses. Sometimes when you get a diagnosis, you're like, yes, now I know why this was happening or something. And then other times you're like upset and angry about it. Like, how did you feel about it?
Well, I know when I was little, like, my biggest thing was, I was like upset because, you know, one of my parents took me off the burdens that I was kind of in before, and you can't have this because we're trying to get out of balance and all that stuff. Like with autism, I didn't really understand that. I thought it was different. I was ashamed of it, you know, because, you know, I just felt like, well, why am I the only person in my family that has autism? Like, why was it me or something like that, you know? Now, the good part is, like, I went to an ESC class. I went to a public school when I was going to school in South Florida, and there would be help. Like, I would go get, I would go to a counselor, an ESC counselor, you know. Before that, my parents had me in private school, preschool, but then they kicked me out because they didn't really understand my diagnosis and all that stuff. So, you know, my parents had put me in public school to where, like, they could better understand and all that stuff. But then, some of my social skills are just more of, it's kind of more tough.
What about you, Oni? Was it good for a diagnosis? Was it bad? Like, how did that affect you?
For me, since it was a late diagnosis, it gave me clarity. Everything fell into place, and I was just so happy that all my life, all my disabilities and stuff were vague until to that point. So now I actually have a label which actually makes sense. So I was just so relieved, and then I could actually take the next step of what to do next. Because before I was just unsure of everything. I wasn't sure what was true and what wasn't. So for me, it was definitely a more positive experience.
That's really cool. Thank you. And you know, both of these are grown adults right now that both have their own podcast that airs regularly. And people all around, it airs throughout the US, right?
Yeah, like all over, it's like international.
Okay, so they both have international podcasts that are airing for thousands and thousands and thousands of people to hear this. These guys, they're doing something really cool, and they really want to get the message out about autism and awareness out about autism, because and Oni, your podcast is specific to getting the message out about autism, right? So what is the message you're trying to get out? What is it you want people to know?
Basically, I want to spread awareness and acceptance in the autistic community, also show other personalities and support. One of my mini-series is about support throughout Scotland, so because a lot of people aren't aware of that, and it's good for me to let people know about that. But I like to talk about various topics, like what neurodiversity is, and what stimming is, and various things that happen with autistic people, and various things that autistic people might not know if they're just been diagnosed. Or it's also good for parents to be educated and such as well, and it's good to hear from an autistic point of view.
Yeah, that's terrific. So I'm going to continue to ask them questions, but I also want to give you guys a chance to ask questions. So if you have a question that you would like to ask one of them or both of them, what I want you to do is put your hand up, and then I would like, Carl, are you busy back there? If you can go to them and just find out what their question is, and then if it's a question that's relevant, we'll have them come forward to ask the question. So, because I think it's so important that we all understand every one of us is different. Every single one of us, whether you have autism or not, whether you have a disability or not, whether you have a superpower or not, okay? We are all different and we are all unique and we are all special. And we really must show compassion to all. And compassion does not include things like bullying or teasing or being mean to people. Okay, compassion is showing love and understanding. So if we have a question, we'll have someone come up. If you have a question, you can come line up here, and then Carl will find out what the question is. Hi, can you stand right there on this flag? And Oni, can you see the student?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, is your question for both of them or anyone in particular?
Anyone in particular. So how hard is it having autism?
Well, for me, like, it was more about a sense of, I guess for me, it was more the foods and of course some of the mannerisms, though, but after a while, I've learned how to, get used to it from that, So, because it took me some time to be able to get to the place to where, like, hey, like, this is who I am and all that kind of stuff. I still sometimes have those days, but I've learned, like, basically acceptance for help from, like, the ESC in the past, and then, learning from different people, like my co-host is probably right here, to really understand, like, what it means to be autistic and not be ashamed.
Oni, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, autism isn't easy. There's so much positives, it is difficult as well, especially in everyday life. It's depending on the person, but for me, it's with social cues, talking to people. Some days I just get easily mixed up, and it's hard to just talk to people, and easily overwhelmed. And sometimes it's just not fun sometimes, but it just depending on the day, and it can be hard, and things just seem really scary, but other days it's not as bad, so it really depends.
I want to expand on this question because I love something that Oni just said. Because she said she has some hard days. Did you guys hear that? She has some hard times. Things get hard for her. She has a hard time thinking. And actually, when you just started doing that, do you stem sometimes? When you get
I don't know.
I don't know if you guys know what stemming is. Okay, can you give them an example of stemming?
Yeah, stimming is like various actions, repetitive movements to regulate yourself. For example, rocking is one of them, or maybe singing or humming, making sounds, or fiddling with objects like fidget spinner, not fidget spinner, fidget cube or ant or ring, for example, and I keep spinning it just to keep myself focused and talking to you guys. So
yeah,
that's
that's good. So if she showed you rocking, there's people that, I don't know if the word flapping is a correct word, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
so if I say something that's wrong, flapping, yeah. Well, you actually started doing it just a minute ago, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I wanted to ask. Because, you guys, if you see somebody doing that, that's a signal that they have autism. And that's not something to get, like, weirded out or scared about or anything like that. That's the way, would you say it's a way that helps you cope? Is that what you would say? Yeah, okay,
it's definitely a coping mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So it's something that helps you cope, and it gives you a calmness, right? It helps you calm down if you're having anxiety or worry or anything like that. So it's like, I want you guys to understand that, so that way if you see somebody doing that, it helps you to understand. And that way it's not something to think that they're different or weird or whatever. That's just the way that they deal with something, okay? We all deal with things differently. We all do. So when we can recognize that other people are different, and that's the way that helps them deal with something, it helps us be more respectful and compassionate.
I just wanted to ask if either one of you have ever had one of those days where you felt like people treat you like an outcast. Like, if you treat
me personally, like, not really so much, you know, because for me, like, I will only talk about my autism if it's like teachers or something like that, you know, in terms of my, like, the foods I eat and all that stuff. But not really to so many people when I was younger, because I felt like one thing I thought they would laugh at me, I thought they weren't going to understand, so I wouldn't talk about it openly about stuff, and I would just keep it to myself. So, for me, I guess, like, once I got to the place of being open and telling people, I guess it was a whole different thing, realizing that it was all in my head and stuff. Sometimes people saw me clapping and do all that stuff, being spastic, and then they wouldn't really understand it, because I would tell them because I was scared.
So I love what you just said. So when you didn't tell people that you were on the spectrum, or that you had autism, you were afraid of how they would respond to you, and you were afraid that they wouldn't accept you. But you found when you started to be like open about it, that people were accepting. More and more accepting, right? You're more accepting when you're open about it, then they're like, oh, that's why. You know? Okay. Oni, how about you?
For me, before I was diagnosed, when I was at school, if you act differently, you get treated as an outcast, and I was in the lowest special group. It was all in the same classroom, but I was like in a separate table with other people who had various difficulties. And since I acted different to the rest of my peers, I was the one who got left out or mocked. This is before I was diagnosed autistic, and even when I'm diagnosed autistic now, it's like, if you say you're autistic, people are just automatically like, oh, if you don't say anything, they're like, oh, you seem to be okay. And it's quite sad, really, that people are just so dismissive over the autistic label. And I don't get mocked and such as much, but it does happen occasionally.
Thank you. Good question. Thank you.
How old were you when you got diagnosed with autism?
So I think, because I know you guys mentioned that, you were young when you got diagnosed. How old approximately?
Probably like 3 or 4. I don't know.
You were really young.
I was like just very young and all that stuff, and there was signs, you know. Because at first, like, I was actually able as mentally handicapped, you know, before I got to the autism.
Okay, and then Oni, she was diagnosed 5 years ago. Thank you.
Where's friendship meant to you?
Okay, so Donica would like to know, what does friendship mean to you guys?
I think for me, friendship is all about like understanding, you know, and being able to like, you know, understand the person on the spectrum, and then just love them, really just offer them a safe space for them to be able to just like be themselves.
Oni, what is friendship to you?
I do think friendship is something to be treasured, and especially if people respect you for you. And it's one of those things. I had a few close friends, some of them autistic, and they just make my day, really. And it's something that's good to treasure and not take for granted. Even if someone doesn't have many friends, as long as you have true friends that matter, even if it's just 1 or 2, that's something. And it's just something really nice about it.
Thank you.
And Donica, I love her. She is the student that when she meets you, she walks up, and what do you say to people when you meet them?
I'm autism, I'm sorry.
I love her. She is upfront about it. She just tells you right off the gate, and I think that is really cool. I love that you do that. And I think it takes a bravery, and I just respect so much that you do that. Thank you. He wants to know what it feels like to be autistic. So I don't know if you can give a few examples of how it feels. Oni shaking her head yes, you kind of have a question mark on your face. So do you want me to go to Oni first?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Oni, go ahead.
Sure. For me, what means to be autistic? In a good way, there's some sort of constant optimism, even in the bad. I always see things enthusiastically, and my brain's more creative, and I just always have ideas and thoughts in my head, and I try and take every day as it comes, really. And even in the bad days, sometimes the squattiness of the constant thoughts can be overwhelming. But I try and use coping mechanisms to fight that. And basically, in short, autism feels like it's just so much information at once. But if you control it, it's actually tolerable and even more interesting and fun to work with.
Yeah, I think like I can agree with like what Oni said, obviously, because I feel like for me, I think it's more like I have a sense of creativity like an Oni, and I can zero in on things. I think with autistic people, like even myself, I tend to like, look at color, appreciate the color, sometimes I like rub like fabric or something like that for some reason, and I don't know, I think it's more like paying attention to detail. I think for me, I pay attention to detail.
Hello. I did have a question. It was that, what's kind of your stance on how some people are so afraid of autism and won't even vaccinate your children because of the so-called rumor? This is a controversial topic, so I don't know. I mean, we can ask you your opinion, but I want to make it clear that this is their opinion. So I don't know what their opinion is. I just don't want to get into the parents being mad about their opinion if the parents disagree with it. So go ahead, you can give an opinion or comment.
Okay, you can help me tell the question again. Is that question again?
Okay, the question was, what's your stance on some people being so scared of autism they won't even vaccinate your children because of the so-called rumor? And if you guys don't want to answer that, you don't have to. It's up to you. I don't know if you want to answer.
I don't know. And I'll keep it brief because this is a strong topic. Unfortunately, autism in general has caused fear throughout society by various big organisations and that. And that's when parents hear that and get scared. And it's a shame that it's resorted to the whole not vaccinating children. And it's a shame, really. In my opinion, I think children should get vaccinated. Unless there's exceptions, if they can't be vaccinated, it's a story. But that's just my opinion. But I think what we need to do is show more positivity and acceptance and appreciation rather than the past stuff that's been more scaremongering, which has been happening for so long. That's why a lot of parents see autism as something scary. But that's just my opinion on it.
Right, and I think what you're referring to is that, like, years ago there was an article that came out that had linked vaccines with autism, and everybody went on like a fear scare about it. But then years later, it was debunked, that article. But people still hold on to that. That's what you're saying. That's what you're asking about. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Because we put up, like I didn't really remember hearing about that. And I've heard some stuff about that, and it's just kind of like, like for me, like I was trying to understand autism. Why do I have it? And it wasn't like a thing like, oh, I was vaccinated or my mom got vaccinated, so that's kind of like my own part. Oh yeah, boom, autism right there. So,
I was diagnosed with autism when I was 3.5, and I was getting speech sense when my parents told me that I was autistic 10 years going to actually diagnose. I had been ashamed of it ever since. So my question for both of you is, how do I just accept myself being autistic?
Okay, I'm crying. Like seriously.
Aww.
Alright, I'll answer first and then I can answer. I think it's more about seeing the good qualities in yourself and really understanding that you're a person and that, you're special. That's the biggest thing as well. That's something that, I myself have to learn. So, as long as you get that, you can be a life and be able to just have that. So it's all about having confidence in it.
I can totally relate. I have low self-esteem myself, and what advice I can say is accept yourself for what you can do, and even if you have limitations, don't be ashamed. We all have our limitations, and I know it's really tough, but the best thing I can say is to focus on your positives, do the best you can. And we all have different neurological brains. We all work differently, and that's what makes us human. That's what makes us unite together. And I think it's a wonderful thing seeing so many kinds of people. So it hits home to me.
I think that was so brave that you just came up here and said that, and I really hope that you guys heard that, because that was something from his heart that he shared. And I want you all to know that everything that you do and say to people causes them to feel a certain way. So when you talk to people, when you treat people a certain way, how do you want them to feel? Do you want people to feel love and acceptance and compassion? Because I know you guys don't want to hurt anyone. You don't want to make anyone feel bad, right? So I want you to, when you hear people making comments and sharing their stories, I hope that it's something that you will take away and that you can change and you can grow. And remember, I said to extend your own personal circle of compassion, because you don't know how anyone else is feeling, right? We're all in our own brains. We're all busy. We're all doing our own thing. We're not thinking about everybody else. But the thing is, what we say and do and what we don't say and do does affect other people, and we need to take responsibility for that.
My name's Logan. I actually kind of have like 2 questions since I was thinking about it in the line. My first one was, what's your day-to-day life like? And for my second one, how do you describe like stereotypical associations with autism and like media? Like kind of like Ralph Wiggum, like The Simpsons or something.
Okay, so can we take one question? Well, do you want to do both questions or one at a time? What would you prefer?
I think like when you can speak to like the media and stereotypes, I'll first speak to the person who's actually on this, and I can speak to the second.
Okay, go ahead, Oni.
That's what I was getting so much, because one thing I do is look into autism media, and there's so many stereotypes. Ralph Wiggum, that's a good one. Even though he's not autistic, it's a lot of special qualities about him, and it's always the same stereotypes. And only recently they've added autism to characters, in the show, what was it called? The Good Doctor, that character's actually autistic. And they also have a Pixar movie, short film, I forgot the name of it, but it's a girl who's non-verbal. So they're trying to be more varied with spectrum, but unfortunately the stereotypes they'll show, birth in the middle, or the woman in the fridge, or shelving for a big bang theory. Even some old cartoons do similar things. It's all the stereotypes are the same, but nowadays it's definitely getting a lot better. There's still a long way to go, but they're trying to be more inclusive and show that the spectrum is wide, not just this one pathway that everyone behaves the same.
And the biggest thing too is that, so many times in the media,
Is this speaker on? No, your microphone's not on. Try the black microphone, copy to that one for a second.
okay.
Hey, his microphone's not working, can someone fix that? Did it go out? I need another microphone.
Okay. Just one, two. Okay. Anyway, what I was about to say is that even in the media, there's things where sometimes when you view autism, it's only basically males, and and all that stuff in terms of that, because, here in the US, you only hear about, diagnosis of characters, mostly from males and all that stuff, And I think, even, not really so much, Black people to get autism too as well, anybody, I think it's more about what Oni was saying about inclusiveness and really having more of that there and not just looking at the stereotypes. Because one thing with autism is that we're not all the same. Autism has spectrum, it has levels and layers and all that stuff. Some of us can be nonverbal, some of us can have slow speech, some of us can talk like this, and there's been times where me, myself personally, people want to think that I was autism just because of how I talk. I don't talk like, the so-called average autistic person, so it's really understanding the different levels of those things.
Yes, I feel like you answered my questions very well. Thank you.
No problem.
How do you make friends? Find friends.
Oh, that's a good question. How do you find friends?
I can still be a tough thing. Basically, just find friends just off of talking to them and basically having them understand it. I just find, even as an adult, it's tough. So it's if you're able to make 1, 2, or 3 people, that really understand it and let you be you. Those are your true friends. Not just ones that tell you something. When I was in school, I had people try to be my friends, tell me to do things about writing and all that stuff, but true friends are the ones that really give you a safe space to do things. Oni?
For me, making friends was a weird one. When I was a kid, I was terrible at focusing on one person, but not other people. And then there was other people you're not a friend anymore, and I didn't understand why at the time. I know now, I'm terrible. I focus too much on one person, not another, and I sometimes do it now. I try and balance out. For making friends, sometimes I make friends from when I used to be at university or college, or a few support groups that I've been to, and I've also made a few friends online, especially when I've done podcast episodes and a few video projects I made about autism before I even started Autish.
Thank you. Alright, this is the last opportunity if anyone else has any questions. You guys, what you're sharing with the kids is I had a list of questions to ask you guys, but the questions the kids asked was phenomenal. I didn't know they were going to have one question. So I came up with a list of questions in case they didn't have any, and they just had a ton of great questions. Question?
Do you do any sports for a living?
I'll answer first. No, actually.
I'm not a sports person, but I'm trying to do more exercise, like running, and I like to do yoga and occasionally Pilates, but besides that, I've never been a sports person.
And let me ask you a question to expand on that. Would that be because sports is a really big group activity and you prefer to not do group activities?
I think that's part of it, yeah. At school, we used to do sport group activities. Everyone used to go with their friends and leave me out. Or I have awkward coordination. It's like something catching a ball can be awkward, or holding certain things can be awkward. I'm just like, ugh, go on.
That's kind of what I thought you were going to say, because a lot of times those big group activities, they're overwhelming for people on the spectrum, right? It's too much. Because you said your mind just goes in so many places, it's just too overwhelming. Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, you're back again. Okay.
How would you compare autism to epilepsy?
I think that's a totally different ballgame, but I do think epilepsy should get more awareness. I know someone who used to take fits. They weren't full on epilepsy, but it was definitely something very serious. But I definitely think epilepsy, since it is a different neurological condition, but unfortunately I can't say much on it, but I do think there needs to be more awareness at least.
Thank you. All right, well, I will tell you, I have loved this conversation. I did not know how this was going to go. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how willing you guys would be to answer the questions and like how comfortable. You guys have done amazing. And I know that speaking in front of a group, I mean, I know Larrnell was very nervous this morning.
I was walking around just like, you know, looking at different things, like kind of pacing a little bit. So,
So I don't know how you were feeling, Oni. You're by yourself over there, so I don't know. How were you doing this morning before this started?
Still nervous because it's obviously a call with all you guys. It's just like, be careful what I say.
You guys have done phenomenal, and I think that you definitely have raised awareness with the kids. I think you definitely pointed out things and answered questions that will get our students to think a little more, and I think that's amazing. You both are amazing, and I want to thank you so much for being here today. We need to do this every school year, okay? We want to stay in touch with you guys and see how you're doing and see what you have to say. You guys, really, really great. Can we please give them a round of applause? Thank you both so much. All right, so I really hope that you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. I got very emotional at one point. I want to thank the students for your great questions, and we had a couple students that came up and shared some personal things, and I really want to thank them for their bravery. You know, our school is an inclusive environment, and we are here to show God's love to all of our students, all of our staff, all of our families, and each one of us is part of that. So it's so important that you recognize the differences in each person and that you respect those differences. And you treat people kind and you treat them with compassion, because that's what we all want, right? Right? Whatever. We're all unique and different, and we all want to live with compassion. So thank you everybody for today. Maybe you can come up for workshops, and I will see you.